Hello everyone and welcome back. I am as always Inquisitor Aura and this is how to roleplay in World of Warcraft Advanced RP Techniques. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Half-Elves. Please note that these are just generally accepted guidelines to socially acceptable and lore-friendly roleplay in World of Warcraft. There is a niche for every type and style of roleplay out there. What I am telling you here are the generally accepted guidelines that will not get you ridiculed. The half-breeds, or crossbreeds, are a unique set of subspecies on Azeroth afflicted with a singular curse. There is not a half-breed on the planet that is 100% accepted by the societies and races that birthed them. Today, we're going to be discussing the Half-Elves, specifically those who are half Keldaray and half human, and I will be discussing them both for the Horde and the Alliance. Before I get into the different factions' views on the Half-Elves, I want to discuss first some commonalities that most Half-Elves will share. The first one is that their features are elf-touched. This means that they aren't as beautiful as full-blooded Keldaray, but are more graceful and elegant than most standard humans. Their ears are pointed, but only slightly and to varying degrees. No half-breed has the long, high-pointed ears of a full-blooded Keldaray. They also have extended lifespans, and while they live longer than humans, they don't live as long as elves. And they are likely not addicted to magic because of their human blood. So first things first, we are going to discuss half-elves in the Alliance, as the Alliance is very likely where you are going to see most of them. And the first point I want to mention is that very few high elves were present outside of Kel'Thuzad or Dalaran at any given point in time. Yes, they were out there. But there weren't many of them out at once, and the vast majority of Keldaray were either remained within the confines of Kel'Thuzad or were training at Dalaran, which was also highly reclusive. Remember that the Keldaray were very insular. They did little outside of their highly protected home without grave need, i.e. the Troll Wars. They secreted themselves away in the far north of the Eastern Kingdoms and shielded themselves with potent magics to keep people out. They didn't like outsiders and rarely trusted them. As such, there are likely to be very few half-elves anywhere in the world at any given point in time. The second major thing to consider as a half-elf in the Alliance is that your presence outside of Kel'Thuzad is noted. While human societies might tolerate you, make no mistake, they are not 100% accepting of you. They are either likely to be jealous, at the very least, after all, your lifespan is considerably longer than theirs, or they outright distrust you. Many, especially those that remember the High Elves seceding from the Alliance prior to the Scourge invasion, are likely to treat you with hostility. There is very little love lost between what remains of Kel'Thuzad, the Keldaray, and the human kingdoms. It also doesn't help that the Night Elves, who are also inherently distrustful of your High Elven blood, have warned the humans about you. Remember, many of them survived the Sundering. They remember that it was the reckless use of arcane magic and the overbearing pride of the Highborn that left the world in such a sorry state. They would have been quick to warn the human kingdoms of your High Elven history. And probably one of the most important things to mention when role-playing a half-elf in the Alliance is that you were likely raised by your human parent. Now this obviously isn't 100% the case, but it is the most likely one. Your High Elven parent, mother or father, likely left you with your human parent and returned home. After all, you would be a constant reminder of their weakness and a dilution of their blood. The only place where you might have had both your elven and human parents together at one time was in Dalaran. While there weren't many high elves in the Mage City, there were considerably more there than there were anywhere else. Being a half-elf in human society means either integrating yourself into human society or becoming something of a wanderer. Being a half-breed means getting the best physical aspects of both parent races, but being accepted by neither. Some of the other races in the Alliance, however, are a lot more lenient. The Draenei, for instance, are unlikely to turn you away as long as you are not a warlock or a generally bad person. And even if you were a generally bad person but are no longer, they are likely to take you in. The dwarves also might not look favorably on you, but if you demonstrate a valuable skill, you would be allowed to stay in Ironforge. Now let's take a look at half-elves in the Horde. Reminder, we are dealing specifically with half Kelderai and half humans. So nothing else here. And the first thing that really bears mentioning is that the Blood Elves hate you. And as a result, you are forbidden from entering the city of Silvermoon. I don't care how you spin this. The Sindorai lost everything, or nearly everything, during the Scourge invasion, and the human kingdoms didn't so much as spare you a glance. While Arthas and his Scourge army trampled through your home, poisoned your forest, tore down the walls of your city, and consumed Sunwell's magic. The human kingdoms left you to die. Left the High Elves to die, according to them. And when Prince Kael'thas went to join the humans in a show of good faith afterwards, he and his armies were sent on suicide missions. The Blood Elves despise humans, and being half human makes you just as guilty as full-blooded humans in their eyes. Remember that the Blood Elves are notoriously haughty and will look down their noses at you for being an abomination unto their pure and superior race. This is also how they acted when they were still called the Kelderai as well, and it is not something that has just gone away. Also, you need to consider that the Sindorai aren't the only ones with a fairly long-standing hatred of half-breeds. Orcs, too, are likely to be openly hostile towards you, though not as hostile towards you as they are towards their own half-breeds, which I will discuss in another video. This all being said, there are folks even amongst the Horde races who are vastly more tolerant. Take the Tauren, for example. With their shamanistic ways and wandering hearts, they are likely the most tolerant race Horde-side. They won't welcome you with open arms and wide smiles, but they will let you live amongst them so long as you respect their ways. The goblins, too, will make good use of you. After all, you are a valuable asset, and if you can make them more money, they'll gladly take you in, after you sign here, 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 and initial here and here, of course. And while it was the Forsaken who petitioned for the Sindorai to be allowed into the Horde, you might want to avoid them. They don't really like anyone, and are just as likely to capture you and experiment on you as they are to help you. Now, if you've made it through all of this and you've still decided that you want to roleplay half-elf, there's really only two models that you can use. To roleplay a half-elf Alliance side, you should stick with the human model, as likely you do look more human than you do elven. Horde side, you don't have a choice. You have to go with the Blood Elf. You won't actually be as pretty as the Blood Elves, but it is the only race available Horde side that even remotely looks close to what a half-elf should look like. Half-elves lead difficult lives, neither accepted nor welcome completely or at all by either of their parent races. Half-elves live almost entirely on the fringes of society. While they are neither accepted nor shunned, they have forged their own paths across a world that can never understand them, and blaze new trails for those who might come after. Well, that is going to be it for me for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, if you like what you see and you want to see more, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to comment below Don't forget to tell your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. I put out videos once a week on a fairly rotating schedule. If you have made a suggestion in the past, please stand by. I promise you I have it written down and I am working on it. That being said, I accept and want more suggestions for things that you guys would like to see on my channel. So feel free to comment below on any of my videos or send me a message on Facebook, and I will make sure that I get to it at some point in time in the near to distant future. Soon. Trademarked. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great week, have a great weekend, and we will see you again in Azeroth.